This episode of the Dark Side Elite is dedicated to John Huber, aka Luke Harper, or our favorite, Mr. Brodie Lee.
What's the matter, Hackman? Can't sleep?
Cowboy shit!
I need my older brother!
Who the fuck is Rip Garrison? God damn it! Baby, back real!
You are now listening to Dark Side of the Elite with Randy Charpentier, Eric Reed, and Matt Roberts.
Well, it's Tuesday, boys. You know what that means. How's everybody today?
Not too bad, I guess.
Yourself, Eric?
I'm good.
Everybody a little down and somber for what happened on the weekend.
Yeah, it's definitely a somber mood on the podcast today, unfortunately, with the passing of Mr. Brodie Lee there, John Huber.
Yeah. I guess this week's BTE was a tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee, I guess. We suggest everybody out there to go try and watch it. We'll describe in little detail, I guess, on what happened. It's more or less just some of the guys from the Dark Order paying tribute or giving their remembrance to everybody, or to Mr. Brodie Lee, I'm sorry, not everybody. On what he did for them and how he helped them out. It was a pretty good BT. It was only 13 minutes long, and it was humbling for him. I'm like, well, I don't know the exact word to say for it. You guys got any reaction to it?
Well, the whole thing was shocking to me. Just remember seeing my phone the other night when kind of news started breaking, and I didn't think it was real at first, and quickly went on Twitter, and then seen Twitter blowing up about the news, and I was completely in shock. Like, we had been talking for weeks and weeks on the show about where's Brodie Lee, where's he been, what's going on, like, is it an injury? We haven't heard from him, blah blah blah. And I guess little did anybody really know, except for I guess top people at AEW, that they kind of kept it a secret that he was really suffering and battling with an apparent lung issue by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
And it was just really, really, really sad news to hear, man.
I found out a little more information today. He was actually battling it for a couple of months there. And he was in the Mayo Clinic in Florida there for pretty much the last month and a half, I guess, for it. But again, today's episode of Dark Side of the Elite, we'll maybe go into the history of John Huber, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, or Huber Boy number 2, as he was first called. I guess more or less for the majority of the people out there listening and everything else like that, he was most known, I guess, in the WWE as Luke Harper. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, most people would be familiar with all his Wyatt family stuff, right?
But looking over it, I knew some of the stuff that he did before, even before WWE, because I remember seeing him in ROH in particular. Since Saturday, though, I did a little research and went back and saw a couple of clips and everything else as well. More or less, Brodie Lee started off I don't know if you guys knew this or anything. In Shakira. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I had heard that he was in there. Like, I've never seen any of the matches, but Brodie Lee was like one of those names that I'd kind of read about here or there, but never actually saw myself. And same kind of, I could say for Chikara in general. I'd always heard of Chikara, but I've never actually seen it myself.
Yeah. Do you know who his first stablemates were? You will know one of them. So here's a guess. He's a current AEW star.
I have no idea.
Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston, eh?
Eddie Kingston, yes. Eddie Kingston and Grizzly Redwood formed a stable called the Roughnecks.
I've seen Grizzly Redwood before, actually. Yeah.
And with the Roughnecks, they had a couple of people that they feuded. A couple of trios. They formed up a trio tag team, and they actually feuded with Crossbones, Sammy Callahan as well. And they won the trios belt through Shakira. And the team that they lost to, two notables in the trios title, was Brian Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli.
Castagnoli,
yeah, and Dave Taylor. I can never ever say his last name.
Claudio.
So yeah, if everybody remember Claudio, Dave Taylor as well.
Yeah, Cesaro for those who don't know.
Yeah, and that was in late 2008. From there, I guess he went into a lot of indie different places. ROH, Evolve, Dragon Gate USA, Dragon Gate New Japan. In ROH, he teamed with Delirious.
Okay.
Which was really, really cool. He had a feud with the Necro Butcher, if you guys remember him, which was pretty good.
I met him before.
Yeah, I watched those matches yesterday, to be honest with you. And then in his final match in ROH, he actually had his final match with ROH was against Delirious, which it wasn't a too bad match too.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to Evolve, and guess one of his biggest feuds right off the bat were?
No clue.
Current AEW star again, former heavyweight champion.
John Moxley?
John Moxley. And he also had a feud there with Sammy Callahan. Dragon Gate, I didn't see too much, and I read some stuff about it. But I did watch one match over the weekend again. It was him versus Jimmy Jacobs, Kyle O'Reilly, Mike Quackenbush, Rich Swann, and Silas Young. And that was it was a 6-way match where he won. And it was actually a pretty good match. Later on in Dragon Gate USA, he actually teamed up with that sumo legend Akibono, if you guys remember him.
Yeah, I remember Akibono.
Yeah.
He wrestled Big Show, didn't he?
Yeah, one time, yes.
Yeah.
Right. So from Dragon Gate USA, he went to Dragon Gate Japan. That I couldn't find too many matches on. It didn't really have too many big feuds, I guess you could see in it. But right away from Dragon Gate Japan, on March 12, 2012, he signed up with the WWE. At that time, I guess in a developmental contract, he went to.
Wasn't it still FCW or was it already NXT?
It was FCW at that time.
Yeah.
FCW actually rebranded as NXT in August of 2012. But when he went into WWE, that's where he got the name Luke Harper. Then on May 8th, I guess, of 2013, where the big first title run or win was Harper and Rowan defeating Adrian Neville and Bo Dallas. I watched that match too.
Oh, what a team that is, eh?
Yeah. Later on, though, they would eventually lose the NXT Championship to Neville and Corey Graves on the July 17th episode of NXT of that year. So then the transition, I guess you can say, from NXT to WWE happened. They debuted, that's Harper and Rowan. They debuted on the May 27th episode of Raw. where just vignettes promoting the upcoming debut of the Wyatt family. I don't know if you remember that.
Question for you: Was
Yep.
the Wyatt family with Harper and Rowan, was that already were all three of them together in NXT before coming to the main roster, or did they debut on the main? I know Wyatt was already a character in NXT. Were the other
Right.
two with them already?
At the end there, yes. Then Wyatt came up. I actually remember seeing Bray Wyatt at my son reminded me of it actually. When he went from NXT to WWE at a house show here in Toronto, and this is before Harper and Rowan did come up. But then they had the Bray, and then the whole family came. Do you remember those backwood vignettes they had of them coming and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they more or less all came up. And then I guess on July 8th of 2013, the Wyatt family made the debut all together by assaulting Kane. I don't know if you remember that.
Kind of, actually, yeah. Yeah.
So then over a few months, Harper and Rowan went just on a tear where they destroyed everybody, if you guys remember. Then they were undefeated, I think, up until a certain point. And guess who their first loss was against?
As a team?
As a team.
Would it have been like the Shield back then?
Or was it? I saw on Twitter that Harper's or like Brodie Lee's like first pinfall loss in WWE was to Cody Rhodes, and his last pinfall loss in AEW was to Cody Rhodes. That his career was bookended, but I don't know if it was a tag match or if it was a singles match.
It was a tag match. So it was Rowan and Harper, but you already have half of it right there. Cody Rhodes was his first tag match, or their first loss. It was Cody Rhodes and Goldust.
Oh,
right. Yeah. So that's funny. Like Brodie's career is bookended with Cody Rhodes pinning them both times.
That's right. And then after that loss, I guess they started. Now this is one I forgot, but I shouldn't have forgot. They started that big feud with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, heading into Survivor Series. Remember that?
Right. Yeah.
And then Harper and Rowan lost to Punk and Bryan that match.
Mm.
So that's, I guess, sort of when the first time, if you remember, them like breaking up. Do you remember the time when Wyatt said, "Oh, you guys are set free"? I think it was it was Rowan being
he was like
injured.
and Eric Rowan came back as like a vineyard or whatever. He was like a winemaker, and Luke Harper kind of had a singles run, and that's when he ended up kind of becoming Intercontinental Champion and stuff like that, right?
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. That's what happened. Remember when he joined with the Authority? That's what happened. He joined with the Authority. And then they gave him that Triple H and Stephanie gave him that Intercontinental match that he could do, and then he won it off of Dolph Ziggler with interference from Seth Rollins, and he captured his first main roster title, I guess, at that independent.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him being with the Authority. My God.
That's right. Yeah. It was very short.
Yeah.
But he only had the belt for 27 days. Do you guys remember who he lost it to?
Was it Dean Ambrose? Or no?
No.
I remember him and Ambrose had some like brawls in WWE back around that time too.
He lost it back to, yes, you're right, absolutely correct on it, but he did lose it back to Ziggler in a ladder match at the TLC.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Was that like a huge?
So he only had the belt for.
It was like.
It wasn't a bad.
No,
match.
but was it like multiple people in that match?
No, I think it was just him and Ziggler.
I think Harper was in one of those WrestleMania 7 or 8 man ladder matches for the IC title.
Right. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
I think Harper was in one of those at least.
Yeah, that was I think that was either before or later on or something to that effect. I can't remember the dates on that. But then after that, I guess he slowly got like taken off TV again. Remember, we didn't see him for a little bit, and I think it had to do with both him and Rowan coming back and it didn't really work out, so they were off TV for a bit. Do you remember the tag team they came back as?
The Bludgeon Brothers?
Absolutely correct. 2017. So, guess where their first tag team championship came from? At what event?
Was it Mania 34 was it Mania 34?
Very good. Look at you. That's why I'm testing you too, Matt, for the
Yeah.
upcoming contest.
Well, it was
And
it was them against New Day and like the Usos and
Yes,
someone else in
right.
like a 3 or 4 way tag.
it was a three-way tag. You're absolutely
Three-way
correct.
tag.
You had
Yeah.
it right there. They had the belt for quite a long time. 135
That's
days.
a big rain.
Yeah, they were
Precise.
stomping everyone on SmackDown at
I
that
forgot
time.
about that.
And they
Yeah,
had,
I didn't like.
they had the giant rubber mallets and everything.
Yeah, I didn't like the gimmick too much. I didn't like their attire. Like, you know what I mean? It just
It
didn't
was
look
just
right.
such a weird spin off of like the Wyatt family, just into a different version of Monster Heels kind of thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like a Kane Road Warrior,
Yeah. It was,
weird
yeah,
medieval.
right.
So
I don't think they were even that big of fans of it themselves. I don't think.
yeah. But then, okay, so they had the belt for 135 days. Who did they lose the belts to?
It's either Usos or New Day. I'm guessing Usos.
Sheamus Cesaro?
No, Eric was right. It was the New Day.
New Day.
So after that, Rowan suffered a bicep, so sidelining
that's
them
right, yeah.
indefinitely again, and then Luke Harper sort of got right out of the TV again. He came back to TV later on that year, with his partner Eric Rowan. Guess who they attacked? This is, I guess, sort of the rise of this gentleman here, coming out of already a stable.
I remember Harper came back to like help Roman Reigns against like Rowan and Daniel Bryan, but I think this is before that.
Yeah, he attacked Roman Reigns on that.
Was it Roman Reigns?
It was Roman Reigns, yes.
Yeah.
And then Harper ambushed Daniel Bryan after that. Remember that Daniel Bryan Harper thing? And then it's everything.
Yeah, when
came
Bryan
together
and Harper
for him.
were aligned, when Daniel Bryan was calling everyone fickle.
That's right.
You're
Yeah.
fickle. The
So
hemp title.
we'll go on to the very end. So again, he had the tag team championship. He had the Intercontinental Championship. Do you guys know what his last match or where his last match was in the WWE?
No.
It was in the Battle Royal at Crown Jewel, October 31st.
That was his last match, eh?
That was his last match, yes.
That was in Saudi Arabia.
That's right.
Wow.
Then in November 26th, then he had that little hiatus where he took off a little bit, so on and so forth. And then on November 26th, he filed for his trademark for his name of Brodie Lee. And then December 8th, his contract was released.
One last thing on his WWE run, those
Yeah.
matches of the Wyatt family versus the Shield from like, I want to say it's probably like 2014 around like Survivor Series or something. Like they had a couple 3-on-3 matches that were just unbelievable. Like some of the best matches WWE's had in the last like decade. So
Yeah,
if you were to go back and watch any of his stuff as Luke Harper, I would the Wyatt versus Shield match I'd put right up there.
Yeah.
But
No,
anyway,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess then that transferred him over to All Elite Wrestling. Do you guys remember when he came in?
March.
Yeah, this for me like was something I thought was going to be Matt Hardy's spot as the Exalted One last March, I believe it was. Everyone thought it was going to be Matt Hardy. Well, not everyone, but a lot. That was kind of the popular theory, and then it turned out to be Brodie Lee instead. And they debuted on the same episode of Dynamite, I think, even, right?
That's right. That's right. Do you remember who they attacked?
Was it SCU?
SCU. Very good. Good job. Good job.
Right.
Then I guess he stayed undefeated for several weeks. Guess who his first loss and where it was at?
Brodie Lee's?
Yes, Brodie Lee's first loss, and where was it at?
Was it Moxley at All Out or Double?
Yeah, you got that right in the second part. I heard you start to say it.
Moxley?
It was Moxley at Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing, not All Out. Yeah.
Right. He was defeated by Moxley, making his first loss in AEW. Then Lee recruited new members. Who were the two members he recruited right after that
Was
loss?
it Stu?
And actually, he sort of rebranded them and resized them and made one of their career for sure.
Was it Silver and Reynolds?
No, they're already
They were
part
already
of it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we're talking
Cole
double
Cabana. Does Cole Cabana count?
Cole Cabana, yeah, that's the one that came in and I guess rebranded him. But the other one that made the career was Anna Jay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Anna Jay. Again, we went through the story about Anna Jay before, only having 7 matches, so on and so forth. And she literally came out against Sheeta in that one match, and that was like her 8th match, like, you know what I mean, ever. And then they liked her, and Brodie actually pushed for her and got her into the Dark Order. So now, do you guys? I don't know if you remember the date. I shouldn't even say. So on August 22nd on Dynamite, Lee had that great match against Cody to win the AEW TNT Championship.
That was the squash match, right?
Yeah, that was a good match.
I remember that was pretty so shocking, like at the time, because like, yeah, you're going into it thinking like most matches with top guys, it's back and forth 50-50, someone comes out top, and it's not very often you see a top guy like Cody just get destroyed the way he did.
You know what yeah, I agree with you. You know what reminded me that match of? And I hate speaking about the other brand, but that squash to Cody reminded me. Remember when Sheamus defeated Daniel Bryan?
WrestleMania in like 10 seconds.
After AJ
Yes.
kissed him like that one.
I don't remember that.
For another one it reminds me of is, remember Brock Lesnar just beating the crap out of John Cena at SummerSlam? It was like 10 minutes of Lesnar just suplexing him around like a rag doll and just winning. And Cena never getting that big comeback or 50-50 match with him. It was just same thing. Brodie Lee just beat Cody Rhodes up for like 10 minutes straight, and you're waiting for that comeback, and it just never came. It was just a dominant victory.
Right. That's actually a way better example. I never even thought of that. That is a way better example, but that's the exact same. Now it comes down to his last match. So again, WWE to AEW, his first and last match, I guess you could say, was with Cody in the dog collar, where he lost the belt. 55 days, a reign champion. So now we'll go into the sort of, I guess, details on his death. He died at the age of 41. His wife said that he was treated to non-COVID lung issue at the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida. So he was really, really close to where they were. He was hospitalized in the intensive care unit since late October 2020. So
and
to this, we don't know exactly what it was. There was one day he was, I guess, riding his pentathlon, they say, and he does this like very vigorous workout, and he seemed tired and he stopped. And then he said something about it, and he didn't, I guess, worry too much. After a couple of days, he felt okay, but then I guess it progressed. We talked air off about that. He did that to AEW Undisputed podcast with Aubrey and Tony shortly thereafter. Not describing it in full detail, but I guess that was part of it. So coming up, we will see like Dynamite this week should be really, really, really good. It's I guess number -1. Brodie Lee's son, Tony Khan, put a card together of Brodie Lee's son, Brodie. Favorite matches he wants to put together. So I really, really look forward to it. They are a good combo of matches.
Yeah, the card looks really good actually for a show like this as a tribute show. I think Tony Khan mentioned that the main event was booked with Brodie Lee's son's favorite wrestlers, so that's why Preston Vance is teaming with Cody and Orange Cassidy to take on Team Taz, I believe.
Right.
And they're going with the story that Preston Vance used to be with the Nightmare Family, but turned his back and joined Dark Order. But now, just for one night only, they'll team together as a tribute.
Right.
I'd heard something along those lines. So there's also who is it? Matt Hardy and Private Party are going against Hangman and Silver and Reynolds, I think.
Yeah,
or no?
That's one I'm looking forward
No, it's
to.
No, that was the match last week. Sorry.
Hang on one sec. I'll look it up too as we speak.
The Silver and Reynolds and Hangman are going against. Oh my God, why am I blanking out on that?
I know. I was
Yeah,
just
it
looking
was-
at it.
Oh,
Before
it's Santana Ortiz and MJF.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
that's right. We were just
That's going to
talking
be a
about that.
That's
great
gonna be an
match.
unbelievable
That's
Yeah,
going to be a great
Yeah.
match.
Should definitely be a great match. Hang on one sec. I'll just get the card up right now. If I can.
But you guys heard about the little angle they filmed? Was it last week where Brodie Lee's son got to pin Kenny Omega for the world
Yeah, I
championship
saw
in the
that.
ring?
That was really nice.
That was a
Yeah.
really sweet, nice thing that they did for him.
Yeah, it was very, very good. Hopefully, in some ways, I wish to see it. In other ways, I don't. I just hope it's private with them. So I'll go
Yeah.
through the card for Wednesday night. So favorite team for one night only: Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and 10 versus Team Taz. Second match is Young Bucks, Colt Cabana versus Matt Hardy and Private Party.
There it is. Yeah.
Hangman, Silver, and Reynolds versus MJF, Santina, and Ortiz. Sorry, Santino.
Santana.
Santana. Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Anna Jay and Conti versus Britt Baker and Penelope Ford. And Lance Archer, Uno, and Stu versus Kingston, Butcher, and Blade.
That's going to be a great match
That's
too.
gonna be really good.
Yeah, it looks like a really, really, really good card.
You're
And-
getting full effort from everyone on that night
Oh,
too.
yeah.
It's gonna be an emotional dynamite from top to bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And then putting a full night out for them. I guess it's a new company, new start. From what you see on Twitter, like Brodie's, like just made a difference in so many people's lives, and you don't hear one bad thing. Like, I'm not saying bad things come out when people pass away, but everything has been so positive all across the board, right?
Mhm.
Just for people to look for like John Moxley's tweet.
Oh,
Tens-
everyone in the industry practically had something. It was
Right.
unbelievable. Everyone through AEW and WWE and beyond. Like it was anyone you can think of had something on him. And that goes to show like what he meant for the industry and for the people in it.
That's right.
Not
And-
not everyone gets that amount of flood of like social media stuff, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
Right. And a lot of the Dark Order members are really appreciative. They like laughed with him. They thought he was amazing as a human being. But when Brodie Lee came in as a leader of the Dark Order, it boosted all their careers to a different level. And
Oh, totally.
like Anna Jay, 5, 10, even Uno and Stu, like they weren't as popular. People were going down on them, but it showed the comedic side of everything going on, and he made it fun.
John Silver's like rise as a character really stemmed off of the back and forth between him and Brodie, because John like was able to play off Brodie yelling at him and swearing at him and treating him like a minion and throwing the papers at him, and like from there that really like helped John Silver grow as a character too and show off his like comedic abilities and timing.
Yeah,
Same
and
with Alex Reynolds.
yeah. And I don't know if you see yesterday. So Silver was more or less saying, the only time, like all the time, Silver would break, so he had to cry. Brody
Yeah.
told him instead, you just cry. But the only time that he couldn't do this cry or whatever it may be is when Brody actually broke himself, and they showed the bloopers of that. That was pretty.
Yeah. And they're saying whenever Brodie would break, he'd be like hiding behind the camera, so like he was never actually on camera. But yeah, every time anyone else broke, yeah, he would say, "What are you crying? You crying?"
Yeah, it was funny. Seeing
Yeah.
all those bloopers is really, really funny.
Yeah, they did a great job putting together all the highlights and clips on BT this week of all like the Brodie Lee memories. Like it wasn't like to think of all that we got, and it was only from like what? Well, I guess from March until like October,
Right.
right? Like man,
Right.
like what an impact in such a short like amount of time.
And the only thing that people would like definitely miss, like we've seen Brodie all this period of time. It's unfortunately this COVID made a bad situation for this year, but everybody's laughing at the Dark Order, or everybody's with them and everything else, and it's made them big. I would have loved to see a live reaction with everybody, with the
Yeah.
Dark Order, Brodie Lee, everything in
Oh,
it.
I know.
So that's the only thing I'm a little sort of bummed this year about. But
Such
other
a shame.
yeah. So let's pay our respect to Mr. Lee. I guess this last episode here, it was he had a good career, a good person, gone too soon.
Yeah. I'll just say one personal note for me was I was a fan of his, like in the Wyatt family, just like he was a big hoss, like that could work and really athletic and had a cool look. He looked like a good, like a heel, right? Like, and once I found out that he was as diehard of a Toronto Maple Leafs fan as I was or am, that just put it over the top for me and like really put him right up my personal list of favorites. So that like always, he kind of always had a soft spot for me. And then coming to AEW, joining the Dark Order, and being so entertaining, like he quickly went to the top of my list of favorites. And I just want to say rest in peace, John Huber, Brodie Lee, and yeah, it's I'm not sure what else to say except all my thoughts and prayers with his family.
Yeah, and it really showed his character. Like, I'm not saying we didn't see him in WWE as a character, but him coming over and seeing the humor, the personal side, the mimicking of Vince, just the little things was absolutely incredible and amazing to see. And I'm glad somebody was able to do it. We got to see the real side of him for a little bit. I guess prior than WWE, he was that way, but at least at the end we got to see the best of him.
Yeah, totally different characters, and yeah, it was cool to see. Like, yeah, the AEW allows the guys to be a little bit more of an extension of themselves. So yeah.
Exactly. You have any other comments or anything that you noticed there, Eric?
I would just say that, I mean, his work with the Dark Order kind of renewed my faith in AEW. I was kind of, at the beginning of the year there, I was kind of trailing off a bit. And the fact that he came on and made BTE what it was and made the Dark Order what they are now was it's very, very impressive. And I think that was something that wrestling needed at the time. You know what I mean? Like, they needed something new. And I think it could have potentially saved that promotion, honestly.
Yeah. Well, definitely the Dark Order for sure. Remember, everybody was speculating Matt Hardy was going to be the leader of the Dark Order at the beginning, right?
I was convinced it was going to be him.
Yeah, nobody even gave us like a thought. And then when he did show up, people were like, huh, what do you mean? And then when they got to see him, they really got to know why he was the leader.
Yeah.
So I guess for us here at the Dark Side of the Elite, we go to Matt's favorite saying and say what? Pause up, Mr. Brodie Lee.
Throw the pause up.
Join us next week, everybody.